Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here on this channel, you are welcome. My name is Ammy. I'm a content creator and I have a lot of videos on immigration. Whether you want videos on visas, studying abroad, how to gain scholarship, job offers abroad, any kind of videos, right? You'll find them on my channel. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, kindly hit the subscribe button below and ensure that your bell notification is turned on so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Please give this video a massive thumbs up so that YouTube will recommend it to others. You can also share my videos with your friends and your loved ones and keep watching.
Hello guys, you're welcome to Immigrate with Ammy. We want to talk about a pathway for you to immigrate to the province of Saskatchewan in Canada. Apart from the Federal Express Entry or the normal provincial nomination programs, some of these provinces also have like a host of other programs that you can actually explore if you want to immigrate as a permanent resident to Canada. We are going to be looking at one of such immigration pathways that has been created by the province of Saskatchewan. This particular pathway was born out of a need to fill some job sectors for which employers in Saskatchewan find it very difficult to find people to work in those sectors. This was why the government actually set up this special immigration pathway for them to be able to attract skilled workers or semi-skilled workers into that province to fill up those spots for which the employers can't really find people within the province. Okay, today we will start with an overview of this immigration pathway. I will also show you the required document that you should provide if you are looking at immigrating under this pathway. I will also show you, for example, if you would like to use the services of a licensed immigration consultant. I will also show you the list of all of the licensed immigration consultants who can help you immigrate to Saskatchewan. Okay, I will show you the list. I will share it with you, and then we'll look at other useful information about the skilled worker pathway to Saskatchewan. Okay, before we continue, also know that Immigrate with Ammy offers a one-on-one consultation session. A lot of emails have been coming in, people saying that they want to immigrate to Canada, they don't know what to do. These are not things that we can resolve via email, right? The best way to go about it is for you guys to actually book a session. On that session, it's usually a very comprehensive, very detailed session where we start by reviewing your profile. If you're also married, we'll review the profile of your spouse, and then based on the profile reviews, we can now discuss on your options if you are looking to immigrate to Canada. And I mean, those who have attended those sessions will actually agree with me that it's usually very enlightening, and I'm sure that they gain a lot from those sessions. So if you are looking to immigrate to Canada, you need some personalized support, or you need a session to help you identify what could be the best option for you, then book a session with us. You can find the link to book the session in the video description. So the business of the day, we are talking about the international skilled worker hard to fill skills pilot immigration pathway in Saskatchewan. Okay, so that's what we are talking about today. As the name goes, actually, these are for the skills that are hard to fill in Saskatchewan, and I'm going to be showing you the list of those job categories which the government of Saskatchewan has identified as hard to fill skills. Basically, we can start from the overview of the program. This program is for intermediate and low skilled worker in some eligible high demand occupations in Saskatchewan. There are certain job sectors that are high in demand in Saskatchewan. These are not necessarily very high skilled jobs. Many of them are actually intermediate and low skilled job category. In a summary, for you to participate in this particular immigration pathway, you would need a job offer in one of those eligible high demand occupations. The second thing is that you need to meet the other criteria for this particular immigration pathway, and you must have an intention to actually reside in the province of Saskatchewan if your application is approved as a permanent resident. Okay, so basically those are the broad information regarding this, but we can do some drill down to find out what are the detailed information about this. So let's take a look by looking at the eligibility, okay, for this particular immigration pathway. What is the eligibility? The eligibility requirement is that you must have at least 1 year of full-time work experience in your intended occupation. Okay, you must have a language score of at least Canadian language benchmark 4, which is actually very low, guys, right? So it's easy for you to achieve this if you write one of the standard language proficiency tests like the IELTS. The next one is that regarding education, you must have completed secondary school, or what we call high school, or a higher level of education. Again, these requirements are actually one of the minimum that you would find for any of the immigration pathways. So the only requirement for this in terms of education is high school certificate. The next thing is that you must have an approved offer for a permanent full-time job in Saskatchewan. As I said, you will need a job offer in one of those hard to fill skill sectors. We can see the list of the occupation sectors. It's important for us to show you this list, and I'm going to show you also a platform where you can find jobs in Saskatchewan. However, it's good for you to understand what are the list of the job areas or occupation titles for which you can get a job offer, okay, so that you can immigrate as a PR under this particular pathway. So it's not all job titles. These are the list of job titles that employers in Saskatchewan are finding it difficult to find workers, okay, so they have named them hard to fill skills. These are the list here. So shippers and receivers, storekeepers and parts persons, dispatchers, other technical occupations in therapy and assessment, nurse aides, orderlies and patient associate, pharmacy technical assistant and pharmacy assistant, other assisting occupations. So I mean, there's no point reading it one by one, but I'm just, scrolling through it slowly just for you to see a list of the eligible occupations. So if you are going to find a job in Saskatchewan, make sure that it is in one of these occupation titles. So you can also use the code to find out what is the detailed description of this occupation title. You can see them here. It's actually a lot of jobs. If you find a job in these areas, okay, in any of these job titles, then you can immigrate under this hard to fill immigration pathway. All right, so that's that for the general eligibility. Pilot, the permanent residency pathway, you need a job offer in one of those job titles. Okay, so we have spoken about the overview, we've spoken about the eligibility requirement. Now let's talk about the required documents for the application. Okay, so what are the documents that are required if you want to apply for a PR under this category? So of course you would need to provide documents that relate to your identity, your work experience, your academic credentials and your language ability. Okay, so let's go into details about the documentation that you would need to provide. The first one, which is actually the most important in this case, is the job offer requirement. The employer would send you a copy of the job approval letter which you are going to use for your application. Okay, so that's the first documentation that you would need. And again, you can see the list of eligible occupations here. I already showed you earlier on, so there's no point spending too much time on this. Okay, let's move on to the second set of documentation that you will need to provide, and this has to do with the language credentials. So you would need to write one of the language proficiency tests, and then test result must show that you achieved the Canadian language benchmark 4 or higher. What does that mean? Let's imagine that you are writing the IELTS. What it means is that if you score 4.5 on listening, you score 3.5 on reading, 4.0 on writing, and 4.0 on speaking, then you have the required language benchmark. That is what it means. Now, what you would see is that this is actually very low, guys. Okay, this is a low band, but once you have, or once you can meet this band, then you have the required language proficiency. Okay, so let's move to the next documentation, which has to do with your education and training. What is required is for you to have at least a high school diploma. However, if you studied outside of Canada, of course, you would need to go through the process of assessing your credential with one of the credential evaluation bodies like WES in Canada. The next thing is your work experience. So you must be able to show that you have at least 1 year full-time work experience in that area where you are going to be working in Canada, right? So how do you show that? You can show that through reference letters from your past employer. So if your former employer is providing you with a reference letter, it should include your job position, the dates of employment, your main duties, the number of hours you worked each week, okay, and then the contact information of your supervisor or manager in case Canada Immigration needs to verify the information with them. So basically these are, more or less the required documentation. The other documentation are not applicable to people who are not already in Canada. So the temporary work permit, the proof of residency, that does not apply to you if you are not in Canada. So if you are an international applicant, you don't need this temporary work permit, proof of residency, okay? Those does not apply to you basically. We've been able to talk about the general overview, the requirement of this particular immigration pathway. If you are looking to enlist the service of a licensed immigration consultant, that could actually come in handy because these are people who can help you with job offers, who can help you get a job, who can help you with immigration application. You need to be sure that the person you are engaging is actually licensed, okay, to operate in Saskatchewan. So what you are seeing here is a complete list. It's a 72-page PDF document which contains the complete list of all licensed immigration consultants who can, help you with immigrating or getting a job in the province of Saskatchewan. Okay, it's a very long list. There's no need to go through the list, right? What you can see is you can see the name of the consultant, you can see their license number, the company they are working with, the full address, the email address. You can also see, the website. So you can actually reach out to them. You can check out their website. You can enlist their services and they can support you if you want to actually immigrate through these hard to fill skills, because this could come in handy if you would like to use the services of a licensed immigration consultant. Okay, so finally guys, since this pathway is dependent on you finding a job in one of those hard to fill skilled areas, I'm also showing you guys the dedicated government job website in Saskatchewan. This is the more or less the official platform where employers in Saskatchewan post jobs. And the good thing about this platform is that you can search jobs by the occupation areas. So imagine, depending on what you do, imagine that you are into maybe a sales support or a salesperson, or maybe like any form of sales job or any job category that has to do with sales and service. If you come here and click on sales and service, it will only give you jobs that have been published in those areas. Okay, and then you can start applying for jobs in this area. You can also see different occupation area: management, business, finance and admin, engineers, architect, IT, natural sciences, health, social science, education and government. Okay, so make sure that you use that eligible list which I showed you earlier on to actually search for jobs. So search for jobs that are included in those eligible occupations. It's not all the occupations that are actually eligible. These are the list here. So if you are looking for a job, make sure that they are in any of these occupations that I showed you. Those are the occupations that are eligible under this hard to fill skills pilot. Okay, so guys, I wanted to drop this here. This is actually another opportunity for you to immigrate as a permanent resident, and you can actually consider this pathway if you would like to move to the province of Saskatchewan. Okay, so it's always a pleasure speaking with you guys. Make sure you check out the video description because there is a link there for you to have access to all of this information. It will be good for you to do your own independent research. If you also need, a one-on-one consultation, of course, make sure you book it by all means from the link in the video description as well. Okay, thank you so much guys for watching. Have a lovely day.